comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willis. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willis. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to Northeast Louisiana, or rather, Northeast Texas, North, Southeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, Northwest Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana. What's wrong with my thinking? Did I stay up too late? Taking care of business with the good old speech, that great speech that Donald Trump got or did. Is that the problem? Anyway, good morning to the rest of the world. Good morning to every nook and cranny that is getting our signals through via our 100,000 watt transmitter on those little devices called radios for those who are still receiving FM signals. And of course, the world through the great creation of the internet. Anyway, folks, did you see the convention last night? I've been watching it every single night. And you know what, man? It's entertaining as hell. Completely different frame, completely different. I'm going to the studio in a minute, but I just have to say this. Completely different world. Another reality. Wow. Anyway, my brothers in the studio, Los Genios, the geniuses. Good morning, Howard. Good morning, Jacques Van Beba.
Well, good morning, Egberto, and welcome back from the alternate universe of the Republican National Convention. 100,000 watts radiating all over Southeast Texas. This is KPFT Houston. That is our legal ID, which I forgot to put in this morning in the stack. So, no, I have been avoiding the Republican National Convention like the plague. You know, I'm very surprised that building is still standing, that a bolt of lightning didn't burn it down because of all the lies coming out of there and all the, okay, well, we're going to talk about being the party of the lost worker, the party who supports the lost citizens. Yeah, okay. Look at your policies and then tell me what you're doing. So like I said, I have been avoiding it like the plague. I did hear some of it on our HD2 channel as we were going to carry it again tonight from 7 until 9. Why, I don't know, but here it is. And I'm doing good. No rants this morning. So Jack, he's got a full page of wisdom over here. A page and a quarter of wisdom. My God, let's get to this thing because it's got to be good.
Oh, it's Medicare take advantage of you, man. I mean, there's a lot to talk about there. I'm going to try to explain how they set this thing up. Someone mentioned yesterday that when politicians and marketers name something like Medicare Advantage, the name often disguises the true nature and intention of the bill. The name is made to trick and fool the consumer into taking an action that benefits, in this case, the insurance provider over the patient. The true nature of Medicare Advantage is Medicare take advantage of the taxpayer, which is you. Here's the scam. Medicare Advantage's selling point is no out-of-pocket experiences. This is the dope deal. The first one's free. This is the lie. You pay a premium each month over what you pay for your Medicare. So you do pay out-of-pocket expenses each month.
Mm-hmm.
The Medicare Take Advantage of You bills Medicare for your care at a profit. Profits off your premium, and then they profit off your premium. This is they're paying themselves twice, 2 times.
Double dipping
In the taxpayers' pockets. This is how the private insurance companies pull profit out of the taxpayers' profit. It's a total scam, Egberto. Remember,
Yes.
the corporate mantra is privatize the profits and socialize the costs. Medicare Take Advantage of You is a prime example of how they do this. The reason George W. Bush created Medicare Advantage was to undermine Medicare and flip the unsuspecting public into private insurance and get rid of Medicare altogether.
that bum.
That was the plan. That was his Grinchy plan.
Looks like it's working.
And you nailed it. And actually, yeah, sadly, and that's why we have to try to reverse that trend. So thank you for picking up on that, Jack. I think that is so important, but before I get into the Medicare, which I really, really want to do, unless we, I don't know if you guys realize, yesterday our listeners completely dominated the entire time space of the program, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed it. I'm not complaining. I enjoyed it. But from the time we started yesterday till we ended, those lines were, every single one was taken. So maybe we'll get to some of the show today. We'll see. But
Yeah,
by the same,
you had like 14 callers yesterday.
yeah, it was
$14
constant.
in an hour. That's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
It was constant. So anyway, folks, the number I will still say, you come first, 281, or rather 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. But here's the deal. I want to start with the convention because, last night was the night that Trump accepted the nomination for the for the presidency. And it was very underwhelming. You sit down and wonder, why does anybody fear going up against this guy? Because first of all, the entire convention was a plethora of lies that are easy to dispel if you can get to the people who are believing the lies. Right now, the polls look 50-50 with Trump carrying, given that most of the polls have Trump with a 2% or so lead. The bias is still that Trump is leading in the election and specifically in the electoral college. And you sit down and wonder why. And the reason why is as Trump lies about what the economy was, as Trump lies about how things are, the actual math of things, there are a group of people that never see the truth. And there are a group of people that have been taught that those channels or those entities that tell the truth or should be disregarded. And that is a difficult position for one to be in. In other words, if you believe that CNN and MSNBC are lying to you and Fox News allow those lies to go through, and you are not likely to go to the places that everybody gets absolute information from, let's say the different resources that are out there that are irrefutable. If you are not privy to that, you don't do that. You don't know what is true, and you tend to believe those that you trust. And the truth of the matter is, many trust Fox News. Right-wing folks trust Fox News. So Fox News can lead them to their demise. And that is what's happening. Right now, if you listen to everything that was said, the vast majority of what was said at the convention are easily provable lies, from the state of the economy to the state to the things that Trump claimed to have done, how tariffs behave. All of that completely false. And not only that, assuming Trump were to get into office again, they won't just hurt progressives or those damn liberals. it would hurt more so our folks in Appalachia. It'll hurt our poor people. It'll hurt our working class people. One good example is the support. He comes out and he says, we are going to ban the electric car, not ban electric cars, but ban the subsidies, etc., and all these things for electric cars. But at the same time, not remove any of the subsidies for oil or whatever, which means we will continuously fall behind. I told a couple of people a few times behind, get out of the United States and go to places like Shanghai, China. Take a look at their electric car industry and what's being exported by China to Jamaica and to all these other places that, places we like to just look at as third world countries and find out what they're doing electrically with solar and green energy and how they are moving on. And we continue to just put our heads in the sand and convince a lot of our folks to be less than smart in what the future brings. In what it is just amazing that we have a sect that is willing to damage willfully the American population. It's just an outright shame. But we'll continue with this throughout the sessions that I have here, throughout our shows. But after I answer these calls, I'm going to try to get a little bit into Medicare Advantage. So let's go ahead and bring Johnny into the discussion. Johnny, Mayor of Politics Done Right. Good morning, my brother. How are you doing?
I've done better. I've done worse. So same as always, right?
How's you? Don't tell me you're having a migraine again.
No, not yet. So God forbid that. Don't wish that on me. So last night I kept looking at the clock all the time that I was watching and listening to Eric Trump before his father came up on stage. That guy was boring me to tears. I looked at the clock, and I think it was 8:55 p.m. on my watch. And my watch, they run about 2 minutes fast, so whatever the time that is. And I was thinking to myself at that point, I says, this guy has been on 10 minutes too much. And he went on and on. And then his father come up on stage, and about, as near as I could tell, somewhere between 45 minutes into Donald Trump's speech, I nodded off for about 5 or 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And the thing that really annoyed me about Donald Trump is I felt personally insulted when they used that fireman's bunker gear and the helmet. And I knew what he was going to do. I knew he was going to do. He was going to hug that bunker gear. And then I was surprised that he kissed the helmet. If that fireman had not died, they would have had a flag for him to hug and kiss and make love to on stage. He is an opportunist. There's no genuine love or emotion in what he does. He's a lizard. He's a reptile. And words fail to express the visceral hatred I have for that man and what he's doing to this country, him and his compatriots, his criminal associates. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Johnny. I honestly don't hate Donald Trump. I mean, it's sad to say, I feel this level of pity that somebody that has so much. I mean, yes, the way his father made his wealth and passed it to him, I'm completely in disagreement to that, because that, although that's a capitalist way, it isn't the honest way, because again, he didn't earn it. His parents didn't earn it. They got it through the magic of, well, you know how to work the capitalist system. No billionaire in this country has earned their billion. And anybody wants to discuss that, we can. Nobody earned $1 billion. But that said, Johnny, for somebody that grew up with so much to be in the stage that he is in, I don't think it's hate we should feel for him. I think it's pity. He's not a happy man. He has all the money that he can use from others, because remember, he's not really all that rich comparatively, but he's not a happy man. Thank you, Johnny, for your call as usual, my brother.
Real quick, you just said something to Spike. I feel pity for some of the people in that convention center. Not for him.
I got you.
He's a leader, supposedly. Has money. He's an adult. He's 70 plus years old. He's got life experience. He should know better. And he's competent and he's criminal and he needs to be prosecuted.
You know, Johnny,
Nope.
when you say he knows better, that is what makes somebody evil. When the wrong that they're doing is done knowingly that they harm people and they do it, that is what makes it evil. You're absolutely right. Thank you, my brother. You have a great one.
He steals money. He steals money from people in nursing homes as part of his grift. He's evil.
Yeah.
He needs to be punished.
Thank you, brother. Let's go to Brother Tag. Come on in, Tag.
Egberto, as usual, you've hit the nail on the head this morning.
Thank you, my brother. Talk to me.
Everything you say has got the absolute truth. You know, I was brought to my attention about how endearing JD Vance was last night with his little story about his grandma having 19 loaded guns at her reach anywhere she went in her house. Did you hear that one?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I actually, when I heard that, it was kind of shocking that he made a big issue out of it. And I actually wrote a tweet as soon as he said it. I wrote a tweet. I wish I could find it, but I said, can you believe this guy felt that was something worth stating, that his grandma had 19 guns? Wow. That it is the kind of things that these guys feel is so important. It's sick. But continue, my brother.
Well, here's the symbolism behind that is that this section of the Americans reach to that as a symbol of how they get their security.
Right.
And to me, it's a wide-ranging psychosis that so many Americans believe that they have to have weapons for their security. I don't need a weapon to feel secure. Do you need a weapon to feel secure, Egberto?
No, I don't. I honestly don't. I mean, but I don't need anything that harms another human being to feel secure. I make sure I try to put myself in positions that don't put me at risk. Right. Exactly.
Yep. Exactly. And the thing is that these people, I'm sure that JD Vance's grandmother was never at risk, and there was really never an opportunity where she was going to have to shoot somebody or shoot a raccoon in her house or some damn thing. Who knows why she'd have 19 loaded guns in her house. But the fact is that having loaded weapons around and even having weapons in general is something that deteriorates your security, not increases your security. And it's a psychosis that Americans have, which makes them feel insecure. And it's a message that the Republicans are sending people. It's a method of gaslighting people.
And you know what?
You need to feel secure.
And Tag, what is so sad about it, right, is we have examples around the world. Examples around the world where guns are not prevalent. The murder rates is a lot lower. People, the carnality of man, where at the time that you're upset, you have a gun. It is something that some people would immediately jump to and use. Most guns in the homes are not used to protect oneself. It is used to harm a family member. It is used for suicide. If you add all these things up, I mean, those are known facts. But we have this Second Amendment. And because, again, like I said, in this country, too much of a percentage care more about capital than humanity, care more about a sentence in the Constitution that's misrepresented more than humanity. It is something that I think we have to change culturally. And again, the only way to change that culturally is to get the demagogues out of office, get the demagogues out of society. Continue, my brother.
Well, I had somebody want to argue online that guns are not the number one killer of children today. And it's like, if you do your research, cars or anything else is not the number one killer of children. It's guns. And people will stand there and toe-to-toe and argue with you. That's not true. And like I say, it's a security psychosis that's been perpetrated on a certain segment of this country. And you just can't trust people that have that psychosis. And so
you're absolutely right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tag. Folks, the telephone number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Give us a call. That, by the way, I fired up the wrong engine this morning for our video. So the telephone number on the video is actually the 3 o'clock number. So forgive me. The number for now is 713-526-5738. Let's go ahead and go to Brother Harry. Come on in. Good morning, Harry. How are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing good, Roberto. Good morning to you. Good morning to Jack. Good morning to Howard. Okay, I'll start off with Sarah Huckabee. When she talked earlier in the week, she talked about how strong Donald Trump was or is surviving that assassination attempt. But she also talked about how we were better off with him when he was in office than we are now. And then she went on to say that Donald Trump, what was that she said? That he's about bringing people together and everything. And they're going to say all these things to try to bring in and get your votes. But this is a man or she's a woman who killed Medicaid in her state. So what non-rich person would listen to her? Now we'll go on to the vice president, JD Vance. He's talking about that he's for the worker. The party's going to be for the workers, that it stops with Wall Street. Well, and Elon Musk is going to give $45 million a month to elect Donald Trump. I don't know about that. And then he says he pointed some things that Joe Biden did. He voted for NAFTA. He voted for the Iraq War, and that is true. But I don't know that they are gonna bring people together and they're for the worker, and they're going to help the employee, and that's going to be better for the employee, and they're going to not be about Wall Street and Reaganomics and trickle down, all that stuff that Reaganomics is tied to, that they've been doing over the last 40 years with their neoliberalism. And Donald Trump said a lot of things, being humble, saying it doesn't matter what your ethnicity is, creed, color. He's going to be for all Americans. Then he says with foreign policies, if he gets in there, he's going to end the Gaza war. He's going to end the Ukraine war within 24 hours. Well, how is he going to do that? Well, just thinking about it, I just think, what his plan is to stop giving aid to the Ukraine. The Ukraine is worried about that, so he's worried about it. And just not be united with Europe to stop Putin from taking the Ukraine. And then,
Harry, got to go. Got you your 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Right. Thank you, my brother. Let's go ahead. Thank you, brother. Let's go to Shara. Come on in, Shara.
Hi. I want to talk about the fear-based media. I'm 55 years old, and every little bit of the media, like the television news, everything was fear-based. So that's how they get people to pay attention to them. I mean, I remember seeing one on, the little conveyor belts at the grocery store. Oh, the hidden danger of the germ. I mean, every bit that's fed to the American people is fear-based. Just like every bit, in every movie, just about every TV show, there is Zionist propaganda. I mean, it is just there. I mean, if you want to you could make a zombie Hitler movie. Any movie that, is about World War II, Hitler, Jews being victimized, it's going to be produced. And, whoever controls the media controls the masses. Our police get trained in Israel. I used to live in D.C., and the police would drive around with their lights flashing all the time. And they got that from one of the higher-ups going to Israel. And it makes you feel, I don't trust the police. I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. I do not trust them. Never will, because, they're not for us. They're not here to protect us in the least. They're here. 1979, in the town I grew up in, we had an anti-Klan march with the Communist Workers of America, and the Klan showed up and shot at least 2 or 3 people. There, some people expired, and the police stood by and did nothing. So I'm just done with the system in the United States. I'm just done.
Let me just push back on a few things. First of all, just like you feel about for a large percentage of the police that let me tell you who I'm a Afro-Latino Caribbean man. I hate to say that just because somebody's going to say, well, you're playing the race card. Well, the way I feel about the police officers, I'm a professional, I'm a writer, I'm a blogger, I'm an author. I do all these things. And whenever a cop is behind me, I still have my heart in my throat. Because again, as far as I'm concerned, I know what they see. Now, I want to get that out of the way. I also feel that the police system is biased against some. I honestly live that. So I don't need anybody to prove that to me. I've lived it my entire life here in the United States. But where I want to push back on you is I want us to start looking at things not from this is done by Israel or the media, sort of imply who controls the media and that sort of stuff. Capitalists are the issue, not the ethnicity, not the nationality. It's an economic system that has caused that lives on doing the things you just articulated, which you're absolutely correct about. Keeping us in fear all of the time, keeping us fighting against each other all of the times. All of these things are done to maintain a certain hierarchy in the country, in the Western world. And, so all of us workers, the working class, the middle class are really on the same team. And the issue is we have to be kept divided for the small amount of people that control our overall being to be successful. So what I'm trying to tell you, Shara, is that I get you. I read most of what you're saying. In my opinion, I could be wrong. I got a twinge of maybe putting things on Israel as a whole, as opposed to on an economic system as a whole. That's all. Anything else you want to add to that, Shara?
I would like to say I am extremely anti-capitalism. Extremely. I have lived outside of this country, and once you live, in a normal country, I was in the Netherlands. It is, you come back to this country and you think, oh my God, this is, for most of us, a third world hellhole. So, I am very anti-capitalist.
I'm glad you use the Netherlands as an example, because the Netherlands is the place that has blended has blended free enterprise. I don't call what they have capitalism. I call it free enterprise, because they have a very good social safety net where everybody feels whole. And that doesn't mean they don't have rich people. They have rich people there too. But again, the working class has not been forgotten. Now, of course, they're trying to get, a lot of the right wings are trying to get into the Netherlands and control things. But Shara, thank you so kindly for your intellectual conversation. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
Let's go to Augie. Come on in, Augie. We're going to get to Augie in a little minute. But folks, the number is 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. And here is Augie that's going to be made hot right now. So, Augie, you're hot.
Good morning. Boy, that was Trump talked a long time with the 40 minutes worth of lies.
Oh, my God, it was rough. And you know what? I say, this is what I say, Augie. I had to listen to it so that you guys don't.
Right. Well, the Republicans that I know of, they don't listen to it. They don't even watch it. And I have to tell them about what he said. Like the firefighter, Biden called the family right away. Trump didn't call that family until after Biden, the day after Biden did. And that's the only reason I guess he called them, because Biden had already called them first.
Right.
And then he lied about Afghanistan. He's the one that negotiated the withdrawal. He blamed it on Biden.
Right.
And no negotiation. He gave the Taliban everything they wanted. He even gave them the date that the Americans were going to leave. And so the Taliban had plenty of time to plan that bombing that they did, because Trump told them, we're leaving on this day. But the date wasn't his administration, it was the next administration, which was Biden's administration. So everybody blames Biden for the withdrawal. It was Trump who did that withdrawal, not Biden. And it's Trump. American military died.
You nailed it. I mean, Biden has been taking a lot of flack for things that he didn't do, and he has not gotten enough credit. And, I've been trying my best. I wasn't a Biden supporter, but I've been trying my best to give Biden the kudos he deserves, because he's one of the best presidents in my lifetime. And it's just a statement of fact based on what he has done. So, hey, continue, my brother.
Yeah, and there's no respect for the elderly. He had a stutter. So people complain about how he talks. Well, he's done a lot with a stutter. I have friends who had a stutter, and another friend who had a lisp. And we grew up, and I still keep in touch with these two friends. He's 81. And when I grew up, we learned to respect our elders. But I don't see any respect from the Republicans at all on elderly folks. They don't care about them, really, it seems like, anymore.
Well, look,
Augie. He gets a lot done. And they say they're Christians. Well, look in the New Testament. You judge a person not about the way he talks or what he says. You talk by his actions. Nobody is judging Biden on his actions, all the stuff he does. But anyway, that's it.
Thank you, Augie.
You, exactly, Howard, do. Bye-bye.
Thank you, my brother, for calling, and thank you for being a great supporter of KPFT. Let's go to my brother, Donald. Come on in, Donald.
Hey, good morning, Alberto.
Good.
You know who Bob
Good morning,
Ross
brother.
Is, right?
Good morning. Say that again.
You know who Bob Ross is, right? We need to get you a hair like him, and you need to be Alberto Ross and paint the picture that you want the world to see. Now, it's all in the perception of the way you paint the picture. And people can't see through certain things because hate, there's another four-letter word that's called love. But people love to hate, and I don't understand it. It's easier to hate than it is to look at something and try to analyze it and try to figure out why is it that way. And, 19 guns is a little far-fetched. Now,
right.
I could say 6 or 7 because I grew up around guns my whole life. Now, if you go in the gun cases, there's probably a little bit more. But, yeah, there's rounds of ammunition. But we were hunters and fishermen, and we had bow and arrows. We had knives.
Right.
That's because when you're poor, that's all you got to do.
Hey, but wait. Hey, Donald, I want to stop you because you said something very profound when you started about love and hate, right? And about what it's difficult and what can we do to love, right? And I want to pick up on that because I think that is something that I've learned over time. And I want to kind of expand on what you said. I think is very important. I have a lot of MAGA friends. A lot of my progressive friends are pissed that I deal with those people, right? And the way I can move from, I'm just saying this is my personal thing here. The way I move from hate, the propensity to hate to actual love is to realize that the way of being that we all are, whether we are sexist, homophobes, racists, or all the other isms that we may want to call others or even ourselves, right? All of those things had a birthplace. All of those things were born external to us as human beings. And if you can look at each individual as a human being that was affected by some externality, it isn't then hard to look at that person with all their flaws because God knows I got my flaws. Look at that person with all their flaws. And at the same time, as you're fighting with them verbally, I'm not talking about guns and knives, as you're sparring with them, you can still look at the humanity within them. And if you can do that, hey, you can love everybody. Continue, brother. But thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that.
Oh, no, that's why I told you a long time ago. I'm a practicing Christian.
Right.
And it's hard as hell for me to turn the other cheek because if you get in my face, I kind of forget about that book that's in my
All right, brother. Hey, Donald, I want to talk a little bit about Medicare Advantage. So let me get to Bard and see if I can then get rid of Bard and talk a little Medicare Advantage, okay?
Later. Yes, sir.
All right.
Weekend.
Peace, brother. Peace. Let's go to Brother Bard. Come on in, Bard.
Yes,
sir. Good morning. I am torn this morning as well. I'm so sad that Biden is dropping out of the race. Trump was just going to destroy him at the ballot box. And yet again, I'm happy that we got rid of a 50-year corrupt politician. You know, this guy's been around for 50 years, and he's done nothing but enrich himself. And I'm sad again to hear how ill-informed Augie is about the Afghanistan withdrawal. Trump was gone for 2 years before that.
Barred. Treaties are barred. Hold on, Bard. We got to get some truth in here, okay? And I'm not. I know your information you probably don't get from the best sources, but Biden was simply fulfilling what the timeline set out with what Trump did. That's a statement of fact. Okay, all that negotiations were done by the Trump administration, and Biden did the responsible thing, and that is, if treaties are going to mean something, if contracts are going to mean something, if a credibility of a country is going to mean something, you have to fulfill what you've said. One of the reasons why we have a historical problem, America, is that when we've signed many contracts, when we sign contracts with the native, as far as lands are concerned, and oil and gold or whatever is discovered on it, our nature has always been to break these contracts, not to be honest with the things we sign. At least presidents like Carter and Biden believe in that fulfillment. With regards to Biden resigning, I don't think that is a fait accompli at all. But that said, I couldn't. After seeing Trump yesterday, we just need to bring a body that can speak English and go toe to toe with Trump, and they will destroy the man. Because again, the man is not a truthful person at all. Now, the thing that concerns me with, let's say, you, my brother, is the following. You are willing to dump on, let's say, a Biden, etc. But Trump, by the way, do you have a daughter?
I do.
Okay, and that you are willing to put on the top to run this country a provable person, a judge called a rapist, that you are willing to put somebody that has stiffed the middle class, that when he built his hotels, he left many of the middle class unpaid, that you are willing to support somebody who stole money in his charity continuously, that you are willing to support somebody who stiff people's money by having a false university, that you're able to support such a corrupt being, somebody who has been with prostitute as his wife is pregnant. That is who you have elevated and want to elevate as the leader of this country. You have a daughter, you have kids, you have people that you try to tell them, folks, be moral, folks, be right, do the things that are right. But at the same time, your kids are going to see you supporting somebody that is a felon, somebody that breaks the law, somebody that not only breaks the law of man, but somebody who breaks the law of humanity. That says a lot. I got to go, Bard. I want to hit some Medicare Advantage, brother. We'll talk later.
You agree that Biden's going to drop out, right? You agree that?
No, I don't know that that's going to happen. But what? Let me tell you what is concerning. That after I've described truthfully who Trump is, that's the first question that you jump back to. That tells me there's a pathology there, and I don't know what it is. I got to learn. I got to figure out. I have to further understand how all those things that I just said doesn't really have an impact on how you feel about that guy. But we'll talk another time. I got to get the Medicare Advantage. All right. Thank you, brother. All right, folks. I want to get to Medicare Advantage because Project 2025 wants to supersize the profit-seeking Medicare Advantage. And I'm going to read this piece real quick from Common Dreams. Very important. Conservatives have done the United States a huge favor by explaining in detail what they'll do if Donald Trump is reelected. Project 2025, a presidential transition project of the Heritage Foundation, helpfully lays out how a group of former Trump officials would like to transform the country into a right-wing dystopia where the rich thrive and the rest of us die aspiring to be rich. Declaring it in its mandate of leadership that unaccountable federal spending is a secret lifeblood of the great awakening, meaning the woke people, the plan focuses heavily on reversing social progress on the rights of racial and sexual minorities. In a section dedicated to the Department of Health and Human Services, Project 2025 declares that HHS is home to Medicare and Medicaid, the principal drivers of our $31 trillion national debt. This is a popular conservative framing used to justify ending social programs. In fact, per person Medicare spending has plateaued for more than a decade and represents one of the greatest reductions to the federal debt. While admitting that Medicare and Medicaid help many, the authors of Project 2025 nonetheless declare the programs operate as runaway entitlements that stifle medical innovation, encourage fraud, and impede cost containment, in addition to which their fiscal future is in peril. To solve these imaginary problems, they suggest making Medicare Advantage a default enrollment option rather than traditional Medicare. In other words, they are saying go kill yourself as opposed to getting good care. That's my words. But Medicare Advantage is not a government-run healthcare program. It's merely a way to turn tax dollars into profits to private health insurance. The more that Medicare Advantage providers deny coverage, the more money their shareholders make. There is no incentive for them to cover the healthcare needs of seniors. There is plenty of evidence that Medicare Advantage programs not only fleece taxpayers by submitting inflated reimbursement bills to the government, but also routinely deny necessary medical coverage. And for those who haven't yet found that with their Medicare Advantage, you will. In other words, they are drinking out of both sides of the government. The Center of Economic and Policy Research pointed out in March 2024 paper that the insurance companies that run these Medicare Advantage plans spend significant sums of money to blanket seniors with marketing, while relying on heavily restricted networks that damage one's choice of provider, along with dangerous delays and denials of necessary care. But Project 2025 claims without evidence that the Medicare Advantage program has been registering consistently high marks for superior performance in delivering high quality care. That's a categorical lie that is disproved very easily, folks. So you have a document in Project 2025 that is a standard bearer of what Trump will be running his master plan off of, that simply comes out and lies to you. Medicaid, the program that covers health care for the lowest income Americans, including millions of children, is also a major target of the conservative authors. They want to add work requirements to the benefits, adapting the familiar conservative trope of low-income Americans living off tax dollars because they're too lazy to work. And like the Medicare Advantage programs, they want to allow private insurance to get into the game. Calling Medicaid a cumbersome, complicated, and unaffordable burden on nearly every state, Project 2025 complains about the program's increased eligibility, while at the same time claiming to care about how it impacts those who most need it. But a June 2024 report by the Center of Budgets and Policy Priorities concludes that Medicaid's expand eligibility rules have helped ensure millions of Americans who would otherwise be uninsured and save money in state budgets. Most encouragingly, the people who gain coverage have grown healthier and more financially secure, while long-standing racial inequities in health outcomes, coverage, and access to care have shrunk. That's the benefit of having a Medicare, a Medicaid, etc. It helps people. It makes people healthier. It believes in humanity. It's a humane program. And that's what they want to get rid of so that a few others will make a bit more money. Project 2025 claims to have the underlying ideology to incentivize personal responsibility, as if its authors simply want Americans to begin acting like responsible grown-ups. But they mysteriously don't adapt this same standard to wealthy elites, perhaps because that's precisely who they are. We must remember what all these people that profit from government programs are. They are parasites. Most of the wealthy that are getting their stipends from the government in the form of, oh, we're going to give you Medicare Advantage. Oh, we're going to be the private sector that's more efficient. It's a matter of being parasites on your dollar. You work and they get paid. You work and they get paid. And when we can open one's eyes to the fraud that is our economic system, then we will get a more equitable system, my brothers and sisters. You know, when I come out and I say this economic system hurts people, a lot of people want to say, "Oh, you're a damn communist." I am not. I believe 100% in free enterprise. I believe in the types of companies that I have formed. I believe in all these issues, but the thing about it is the following. And I'm going to go to Brian in a quick way, but I want to tell you something. I want to tell you about this economic system. I believe in free enterprise. You should be able to go out there, create your grocery store, create your restaurant, all of that, and pay your taxes and live a good life. But that's not the economic system today, and it has never been. It has always been a parasitic form of an economic system where you getting any benefit is if it's a byproduct of what the wealthy corporate elite gets, that's fine if you make a few bucks on it. But in the aggregate, that's not how it works. I have a caller, so I don't have that exact time to go over all of this. Let's go to Brian. Come on in, Brian.
Yes, good morning. Thanks for all the volunteer work that everybody does at the station.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, I want to talk about, first, I'll go back into 2025 that the left wing hates so much. But my first point is, everybody knows Quincy Jones, right?
I know Quincy Jones. Oh, of course, from Motown,
okay. Yeah. During the Black Lives Matter riots, someone spray painted Elvis Presley's home. They vandalized his home. And Quincy Jones said, I would never work with that man because he was a racist. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Quincy Jones said Elvis Presley was a racist. But it's really weird that Muhammad Ali said he was the nicest non-racist man he ever met. Saw a picture of Muhammad Ali with Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley was giving him a karate chop G or something, like, their uniforms that they wear for martial arts. Yeah. Yeah. So,
look, Elvis Presley is dead. Elvis Presley had a lot of good friends of every race. Elvis Presley grew up in the black community. To put it bluntly, Elvis Presley took a lot of what he did from, in fact, the black community. Whether Elvis Presley is a racist or not, or whomever is a racist or not, for people that have no power over me, it doesn't really matter to me. Again, I don't know how that involves our conversation, Brother Brian. Tell me, what are you trying to get at?
So who's a liar, Quincy Jones or Muhammad Ali?
I have no idea. That's above my pay grade. I have no idea.
Racism is on both sides. Racism is on both sides.
Let me tell you, a lot of the more elite intelligentsia would try to tell you no, but I think I'm with you on that. And that is, I think anybody can be racist, but what a lot of people like to define racism as is prejudice with power. And I think for the average person, that gets too much into the weeds. I know what they're saying. I understand what they're saying, but everybody has the propensity, or rather the ability, to be prejudiced. You're absolutely right about that. And most people simply look at racism as prejudice based on color of skin, etc. So, yeah, look, I hear you. I don't want to micromanage the word. Go ahead.
Yeah, content of color rather than character, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Muhammad Ali, and Martin Luther King said that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, people that do jobs, they can't do the job because they were hired because of the color of their skin.
Okay, Brian, let me tell you something, okay? Please don't go there. That is dear to my heart because of what I went through as a professional engineer who knew what he was doing. Everybody on my job thought I was there because for some quota. I wasn't. I knew the damn job. And when I hear folks like you demean with that, but I was there because of DEI as well. It wasn't called DEI then. But the only reason I got my foot in was because they had to look at me. Okay. So I would urge you, you're not a bad person. I would urge you to understand the concepts of why we have things like affirmative action and DEI before you allow the right wing to corrupt your thought process. But brother, I gotta go. And you did get, let me tell you, you were speaking for 4 minutes and 4 seconds.
Yeah, I want to quickly go into Project 2025.
Okay, quick, real quick.
Okay, I would rather have illegal alien child in cages, which Obama did, by the way, versus U.S. American citizen children in caskets.
Well, you know something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Okay, and this is another fallacy that needs dispelling. Immigrants, both undocumented or documented, commit less crime than much less crime. Hold on a second. I made you talk. Much less crime than any other American group. Period. So let's remember that. So thank you.
This information.
Look, that comes direct. Look,
what government agency compiled?
It comes from the FBI, and when the right wing released that
FBI
message,
does not
hold on,
any type of information like
Brian, I'm not going to argue. Brian, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just telling you it's a statement of fact. My brother, have a great day. You're wrong. Thank you so kindly. Let's go to Johnny. Come on in, Johnny.
Unfortunately, as much as I try, and I try to give benefit of the doubt, in this case, Brian appears to be suffering from convenient amnesia. You recall back when Barack Obama was in the White House, you remember what his party, his people, his tribe did? They inferred guilt by association upon Barack Obama because he went to a church service by Reverend Wright, who, by the way, was speaking the truth about the American history.
Right.
So let's not forget that. And by the way, if you want to, if they can use guilt by association, then I could do the same thing with Richard Nixon and Elvis Presley. He deputized, or someone deputized Elvis Presley as an honorary sheriff's deputy, and there has been incidents in where both Nixon and Elvis Presley have expressed racial animus. So there you go. Goodbye.
Thank you, Johnny. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm sorry to the chat that I didn't salute all of you. Deborah says, hello, Egberto. Keep up the good fight. Thank you, Deborah. Eric Hayes, welcome to Politics Done Right. Likewise, Billy, Allison Irwin, as well as Alizadin Dreams. Welcome to the chat and enjoy the conversation in chat. Anyway, we're coming close to the end of the program. And look, I think it's important for us to look for real truth. It is lazy for us to just parrot what the right or anybody else is telling us without any further research. It is lazy. And not only is it lazy, it is dangerous. At this point in our country's history, the right is a deceptive engine in our entire society. That's not conjecture. That is a statement of fact. If you itemize all the things that they're telling the people who follow them, and this is where earlier I spoke to Donald about being able to love those who are completely wrong, understanding the externalities that cause the behavior. But right now we have a sect within this country whose sole goal is to lie to their audience for an ulterior goal. I want you all to understand that. And those of you on the right who are listening to Politics Done Right, I want to thank you from the depths of my heart, and hopefully I'll be planting seeds, not for you to sit back and believe me, but for you to at least get the urge to go and do your own research. And I am comforted by, if you do your own research, you would come to the same conclusions that I have. It's out there for those who are willing and searching for the truth, who are not just trying to find a reason to hate, a reason to not like, a reason for what is comfortable for you. Anyway, I'm going to pass it on to the studio.
Oh, I just wanted to invite everyone to come out to the Watermelon Dance and Summer Social coming up today. This is day one. They've expanded it to 2 days because everyone wants to dance with a watermelon. The Cotton Club. Going on to the Cotton Club at 3422 North Shepherd starts at 5 o'clock this afternoon. We want you to be there. We will be there broadcasting live on Saturday. Let's see, we've got Elevator Prozac, Bluegrass Depot, and 50 Years After with Stewart, all live on location. So come on out and see us, and with the tin cans of string holding up and the creek's not rising, we'll be there. So that's my invitation to you, and maybe Egberto Willies will make a special guest appearance too, like he did last year.
Yes, I'll try my best.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, Jack, what you got, man?
Well, the Medicare Take Advantages companies just take advantage of everybody's tax dollars.
All right. Anyway, folks, thank you kindly for being here with me. Love you all. And I mean every single one of you. My name is, don't forget, I didn't get to cover a whole lot of my stuff. So you can find it at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Program is prepared for you every day. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willies.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.